So now that we're able to fetch a single event, let's next work on the logic for updating and deleting events. And as you can tell, this main Go file is already getting quite crowded. We're adding a lot of code here, and we're going to add a lot more code in the future once we also start dealing with the users and so on. Therefore, it is quite common to outsource this routing logic here, so this logic of setting up endpoints and defining request handlers, into a separate file or package. And that is what I'll do here. I'll add a new subfolder, routes, and in there, I'll add an events.go file. And this file should now be responsible for containing all the request handler functions that deal with events. So all these request handler functions here in the main Go file, get events, get event, and create event, should be cut from this file and should be inserted into this events.go file in the routes folder. And of course, now we also have to add this file to a package, and here it's the routes package. You also must make sure that all these imports are added, which should happen automatically in VS Code if you have the Go extension installed once you save this file. So these are my event-related request handlers. In the routes folder, I will now also add a routes.go file, which will be responsible for registering all these routes that we have in this app. And for this, I'll add this file to the routes package, of course, and then add a function that can be called register routes, though the name, of course, is up to you. Here, I want to get my server. I want to get a pointer to my server, to be precise. So at the gin engine, like this. Because we can then use this server to register those routes, just as we did it in the main Go file, with server get and server post and so on. So I'll cut that logic from the main function and add it here in this register routes function. Get events, get event, and create event are available here because they are in a different file that's part of the same package. So they are available without an import, and even though they start with a lowercase character, because again, they are part of the same package. So that's how we now register routes in this function. And since we're always operating on exactly the same server value, since we're using a pointer here, we don't have to return anything here or do anything like that. Instead, we are manipulating, you could say, the original server when this function here is executed. We just have to make sure that it is executed, and that can be done from inside the main.go file. After starting the server, we should now call routes, so our own routes package, and then there register routes. And we now just have to pass that server pointer to register routes. And this here is a pointer because the default function from the gin package returns a pointer to that engine. So we have a pointer here, we're passing a pointer to register routes. And with that, we therefore made that main.go file leaner again, and we outsourced this logic. And that's now an important step in the right direction to keep that code maintainable and manageable. And now, as a next step, we can deal with updating and deleting events.